Meanwhile, also the one more storyline they're going to try and put out there. Remember now, we are living in an era where we have two competing narratives. One is for conservatives, one is for the rest of normal people. And the conservative one is going to be, and they've attempted to do this for a long time. In fact, a lot of what's going on here is creating this narrative that the Russians never interfered in the election, that it was actually the Ukrainians who were doing it on behalf of the Democrats and were framing the Russians. And there's this huge convoluted mess, which we can talk about in a bit. But so anything that will reinforce that will work. And here is Donald Trump. The story is now that the whistleblower gave the information to first the CIA lawyer and felt like, wait a second, I don't think this is going the way it should go. They don't seem to be doing anything with it. So he contacted a staffer who worked for Schiff to seek advice. Schiff never met the guy, but heard the general gist of the complaint. Obviously, the whistleblower report had not been written up at this point. Without knowing the person's identity, instructed his staffer to tell him to go to the IG, the Inspector General, and file a whistleblower complaint. And that's what happened. More or less exactly how you would imagine the process should work. Particularly if the whistleblower is concerned that I don't know I'm going to put this into the whistle and like I might be the one taken out. Like he was obviously afraid that the whole system had been compromised, which is a perfectly founded and accurate assessment of the situation.
It's a deep state, folks.
In fact, there's every reason to believe that had he not told Schiff via an intermediary, that we would not know anything about this whistleblower report. Because remember, this whistleblower report was being sat on by the Director of National Intelligence. Schiff had to know that that was happening. That's why he called for it on Face the Nation, whatever it was, 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's how this all went down. It was obvious. Somebody had told them that the report existed. Here's Donald Trump responding to that.
The conversation was perfect. It couldn't have been nicer. I saw Rick Scott. I saw many of the senators talking about it, many of the congressmen talking about it. Not a thing wrong. Unless you heard the Adam Schiff version where he made up my conversation. He actually made it up. It should be criminal. It should be treasonous. He made it up, every word of it, made up, and read to Congress as though I said it. And I'll tell you what, he should be forced to resign from Congress. Adam Schiff, he's a lowlife. He should be forced to resign. He took a perfect conversation, realized he couldn't read it to Congress because it was perfect. It was a very nice conversation. I knew many people were on the phone. Not only were many people on the phone, we had stenographers on the phone taking it down word for word. He took that conversation, which was perfect. He said, I can't read this. So he made up a conversation and he reported it and said it to Congress and to the American people. And it was horrible what he said. And that was supposed to be coming from me, but it was all fabricated. He should resign from office in disgrace. And frankly, they should look at him for treason because he is making up the word.
Okay, now you'll recall the Ukraine memo, call memo, on page 1 says it is not a transcript. And the story we've been told is that there was not stenographers on the call. So if there are stenographers on the call, release the transcript. Release the transcript. Hashtag release the transcript. I can imagine that there is someone right now, somewhere in Washington, D.C., wherever they do these things, writing up the text of the subpoena that is going to call for that transcript. President Trump, on October 2nd, stated that there was a stenographer on the phone. We want to see the product of that stenographer's work. If you do not provide it for us, this will be prima facie obstruction. So stay tuned because I think that's what's coming up.